Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden is the best Biden ever.
She knows so long as she was 9.
In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been.
President Biden has a photographic memory. His understanding and mastery of a complicated geopolitical situation is remarkable.
He is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
Jackie, are you here? Where's Jackie? I didn't think she was going to be here.
I was sitting, 2 feet from him across the table, and he was, intense.
Have trouble walking sometimes? Yeah, so did FDR. He wanted GD war.
But he's totally focused. He's very sharp.
They say he's sharp in meetings and so on.
Very lucid, very well informed. Biden is stately, and he comes with gravitas. There hasn't been, as far as I know, a single claim that Biden made a mistake.
Ageism is an issue. Americans have a rich history of holding people's physical characteristics against them. Okay, you can ask African Americans.
He's older. That doesn't mean that he is unfit, and there's a lot of ageism there.
Now, this age attack, this obsession by the right.
Joe Biden may not be able to speak for himself the way that he used to.
They want to think to take on government if we get out of line, which they're talking again about, and that's him lying around.
I think people should be speaking up for Joe Biden.
Americans and reporters in the media are just judging him by a physical appearance, and it's horribly unfair. Age is an asset.
He showed exactly how with it he is.
The flip side of this coin is that he has a tremendous amount of wisdom and experience.
Have you heard any concerns from anyone who has met with President Biden about him seeming a little slower?
No.
More wild speculation from a bunch of people who have probably never been in a room with Joe Biden and certainly don't have medical degrees that I'm aware of.
You don't get paid for performance to be president. The job is not a job of endurance. I don't see Donald Trump out bike riding like Joe Biden.
It's the Hillary's email. All they have is that he's old.
He can clear a dementia bar, and that's probably a win.
The media are not fair, and they're getting less and less fair, and things are frightening. You have Wall Street Journal running a horribly sourced piece saying that Biden is unfit.
Dubious Wall Street Journal report about the president's acuity.
Shoddy story by the Wall Street Journal questioning Biden's mental fitness.
Wall Street Journal story had a lot of flaws, as you said. But Sinclair, they didn't do any original reporting. They didn't follow up. They didn't do any work.
The hero of today is Hirsch Goldberg Poland, and is still... He is not here with us, but he's still being held by Hamas.
But a huge part of the Mueller report talks about Russian disinformation tactics. And one of the themes this election cycle is that Joe Biden is too old to lead. And so everyone is seizing upon this. And it is a classic disinformation tactic. And I think the best thing that we can do is to prepare the American people for this false narrative.
After years of trying to gaslight America, the truth was finally exposed last night. And when that truth was exposed, Dementia Joe's horrible performance claimed 2 victims last night. Obviously, Dementia Joe is toast. But the lying libnut media has been exposed for the frauds that they are. Never believe them ever again. You are a fool if you believe what these liars continue to tell you. In a just world, the media and the Democrat Party would be deemed irrelevant and should be looked at as being somewhat treasonous. If you're a libnut, you're a Democrat, and you're upset with what happened last night, don't blame us. That feeling you have is because the media has been lying to you. The real question you should be asking yourself this morning is why you fell for it. Why you allowed the libnut media to absolutely gaslight you for years. You had to know something was wrong. Many of us have been telling you what we've seen was indicative of a man in decline. His mental capacity had completely diminished. But you chose to believe the lies. And boy, have they lied. Brazenly, repeatedly, and without any conscience whatsoever. Now you need to ask yourself a second question. What else have they lied to you about? It's amazing to me today. The cheap fake crowd has been eerily silent. It seems we are seeing a reckoning of sorts.
He kept saying, he had a cold, but this is the thing. When you have a cold, there's many things you can take for it. We didn't know he had a cold until he stood up. A cold doesn't force you to lose your train of thought. A cold doesn't force you to just throw things out randomly that to many people made no sense. And so how long do we continue to act like that we didn't see what we just saw last night? I thought for many people, the word I keep hearing, it was very painful to watch.
And some of those in the media are trying to claw their way back to credibility.
Now we're talking about Mike Barnacle democracy. And again, I'm not saying that everything happens today and maybe we wait a week. I'm just saying personal feelings, personal admiration, love, respect, honor, all the things I talked about in my feelings about Joe Biden, Jill Biden, and their family, that Mika and her family have felt about Joe Biden for 50 years, that I felt for as long as I've known him, that you felt about Joe Biden, that cannot play a role in any of this. This is a battle for the future of American democracy. And now is a good time. In June, thank God, in June and not October, in June, this is the last chance for Democrats to decide whether this man we've known and loved for a very long time is up to the task of running for president of the United States.
A few moments later.
Okay, hold on a second. That I agree with everything you said, except for the last part of it. Everybody calm down, and I'll tell you why. I mean, it's fine to not spin what happened last night, and we're not going to. Again,
by the way,
he had
Mika,
a terrible night.
Mika, everybody's calm here.
No,
you're the only one raising your voice.
No,
Everybody is calm here.
But again, it's the let's just immediately pull this. Let's end this. Let's find someone else.
That's not what Mike said.
That attitude toward this is what I am saying slow down on, because again, there's no spinning it, but let's be balanced. Let's for once show some balance in a media world that is so shrill with imbalance that we've become inured to the difference between these two candidates. So let's put it this way. Gene Robinson, I'll go to you.
Well, wait, I just have to stop you. First of all, we always show balance.
We are, yeah.
Secondly, nobody's panicking. I said these were questions that Democrats and Joe Biden needed to ask themselves. And Mike said he missed one pitch down the middle after another and wasn't up to it last night.
Right, okay.
He said
wasn't up to it last night.
He said last night. So I will say that it's not panic. I mean, it's not being panicked, to understand what's at stake and understand the window is closing very quickly. And if last night did not reveal that to you and other Democrats, then it needs to be revealed pretty soon.
But it's too late. It's over. Dementia Joe is done, and many in the media are done as well. Your careers are effectively over. If you still get paid to do your job, good luck with you. Nobody should be watching. You have zero credibility left, and I mean none. I literally could piece together hours and hours of footage of the media telling us how great Dementia Joe does in private. I guess it's only when he goes outside in public that he completely falls apart. Yeah, I believe that.
Told for weeks by Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings, I've seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while doing trigonometry while solving all the nation's problems. We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people.
And now, Mr. and Miss Media, the funeral you're attending is your own. Your coming to Jesus moment is completely meaningless.
This has been, quite frankly, a car accident in slow motion that we've seen over and building and questioning it. And, you know, as has been pointed out,
he's lying. You didn't question it. You just went along with it. Now you have to question it because it's in your face. But actually, it's been in your face, but everybody has seen it now. So now you're trying to basically tuck tail and save your ass.
Joe Biden sought this debate at this remarkably early time because he knew he was losing and he needed to change the narrative. And he did change the narrative. He sunk his campaign tonight.
I, too, was on the phone throughout much of...
Oh, this bald-headed witch. Just yesterday, she was talking all kinds of smack. Now listen to her.
The debate with... Obama world people, with the Democrats.
World people? Why do I care what world people think?
With people who are political operatives, with campaign operatives. My phone really never stopped buzzing throughout. And the universal reaction was somewhere approaching panic.
Yeah, you're panicked now. You should have been panicked. Did you not think people would realize how bad this drool diaper wearing guy actually is? How he actually is and how people perceive him? You thought that all the smoke and mirrors that you did was going to keep people from realizing exactly how bad of a condition he is in? You should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, you're Harvard educated, right?
The people who were texting with me were very concerned about President Biden seeming extremely feeble,
I don't care.
seeming extremely weak. And there is a conversation happening inside.
There's a conversation happening. It's kind of outside, and I've lied for a couple years now, and I just look at the camera and lie to everybody I see, but now I've been found out, so maybe I should talk about changing things.
In Biden's circle, and certainly a much more frank conversation happening inside the Democratic coalition.
People said I shouldn't be gloating. Yeah, I should be gloating. You should be gloating. These people have been found out. They're frauds.
And I think there will be stories of a lot of concern about the performance tonight. And I think when you say conversations happening, what do you mean? I think people are talking. I think the conversations range from whether he should be in this race tomorrow morning to what was wrong with him. I mean, he has a cold.
Wait. He has a cold? You're telling me you've got the power of the press behind you. You had 2 weeks, or actually about 10 days of sequestered training for this debate. That was the best you could come up with. That's sad. That's absolutely sad. But what makes it sadder is trying to use this entire cold strategy. Are you serious? You're telling me you didn't realize he had a cold until like half an hour or 45 minutes into the debate? You didn't announce it beforehand? By the way, guys, he's gonna sound raspy. He's gonna sound like, like this because he can't talk because he's got something wrong with his throat. He's got a cold. It wasn't until it started happening and you saw the conversation on Twitter that you went, what do we do? Let's tell everybody he's got a cold because otherwise we're screwed.
He didn't do well at all.
No, he didn't.
He did not do well at all. And he looked, I'll give you the analysis.
He looked like an old man. Bingo. An old man, an old senile man, a man with dementia. That's what he looked like. You know why he looked like that, Van Jones? Because that's what he is.
You kind of have the old man versus the con man. I can walk you through.
They can't help themselves, but that's not going to work anymore, bud. Sorry. You can take all the denigrating comments about Trump all you want. He waxed Biden's ass yesterday. Sorry. Tough tookie.
How I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his country. He's doing the best that he can.
Biden doesn't even know what country he's in.
But he had a test to meet tonight to restore confidence of the country and of the base. And he failed to do that. And I think there's a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider taking a different course now. We're still far from our convention.
Minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket, and they're having conversations about what they should do about it.
Yeah, what should you do about it? There's nothing you can do about it. I'm going to make another video as to why it's almost impossible for them to change horses at this point. They're stuck. You went all in with Dementia Joe. Enjoy it.
Some of those conversations include, should we go to the White House and ask the president to step aside? Other of the conversations are about, should prominent Democrats go public with that?
I'm telling you what Dementia Joe should do, and if Jill cared about her husband, don't take any shots. Don't take any medicine unless you saw what bottle it came out of. Hey man, I don't want to get into the Clinton body count thing, but dude, right now, I don't know who your food taster is. Maybe you might want to go on a liquid diet and make sure you keep all the liquids in your own refrigerator. But damn, you're in big trouble. They're coming for you, man.
Call because they feel this debate was so terrible. They do say in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little...
And the whole time, the split screen is killing Biden. Yep. Because he's got his mouth open, he looks confused, doesn't know where he is. He's lost his train of thought at least twice in like disastrous shape. Those are going to be played 1 billion times in viral video after viral video.
He's absolutely right. See, CNN, what's really funny to me is that CNN tried to keep everything under wraps. The Democrat Party tried to keep things under wraps. Nobody can, stream this. You're not supposed to. We're not going to allow you to stream it. We're not going to allow you to make clips and cuts. None of that stuff. We're going to have a 2-second delay. And they still couldn't protect him because eventually he had to speak on a stage by himself. I love what Trump did. Trump just looked at the guy and went, wow, I'm gonna let you go, bro. I'm gonna let you just go ahead and talk about what you need to talk about, because the more you talk, the better I look. I can just stand here. I can actually form a sentence. I'm not going blah, 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 blah. And Trump just let him talk. And sure enough, he hung himself.
This is an epic disaster. I
love his graphics behind him with the Capitol on fire. Oh, it's perfect.
See people online saying, well, okay, that answer wasn't so bad. No, it doesn't. Any particular answer doesn't matter at all. This thing is over.
It's done. They can scramble all they want. They can put Joe out to some rally today. It doesn't matter. Wait until you see the next poll. The next poll is going to be devastating. If you thought today was bad, wait till a couple days till some of these polls start coming in and they're showing that he lost another 5 or 6 points and he's in landslide territory. That's when they're really going to freak out.
He looks like he's barely surviving.
But he's looked like that all along. Why are these people so surprised in the media? Oh my God, he just looks like he's barely alive. He's looked like that for a year. Did you just completely ignore it? Yes, you did. And now to save your own asses, you're pretending like this is incredible. I haven't seen this before.
I don't mean the debate, I mean life. And so there's no person that has a single brain cell left in their head who thinks that Joe Biden is the best candidate to take on Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah, there are. In fact, I think CNN did a poll, and that poll came out that 70% of the people thought that Trump won and 30% of the people thought that Biden won. Just imagine that for a second. 30% of the people they polled who supposedly watched that debacle, yeah, I think Biden won. Your brainwashing that you've done for the last couple years is what's going to prevent you from putting another candidate in there. 30% of people, Democrats, looked at that and went, yeah, that's good. Yep, that's the guy we need. All because you decided to make them look at the little pendulum for the last 3 years and tell them everything you're seeing isn't true. Everything that the Republicans are saying is a lie. You said it over and over and over and then told us we were doing cheap fakes. And now yesterday, gazillion people watching go, holy shit, what is this? Oh, that's Dementia Joe. Well, I don't want that. I thought you guys told me he was, just feisty, however you say the word. And then he was just on it all the time. What is this? People who don't watch news all the time. And then we're told that the Republicans were making fake clips, and now they saw it from themselves. And they realized, y'all just lied.
You would have to be even crazier than Donald Trump to think that. This thing is over. I'll guarantee you this. I would bet show me a Democratic politician and I will bet them any amount of money that Joe Biden's going to lose this election if he's the candidate. It's a guaranteed.
Do you think they just realized that this morning? You think they just all woke up and said, you know what, that debate was so bad, he's now going to win and lose in a landslide. I mean, win. Trump's going to win in a landslide. Do you think they just realized that? Or now is the opportune time to try and basically take Dementia Joe out, kneecap him, get him out of here? Of course they knew. Nothing different happened last night. Every single one of the people I was talking to was like, well, he's just doing what he's always done. We've all seen it for a couple years. There's so many videos out there with him falling down, babbling, doing crazy stuff. And these people are all acting like it's the first time ever. Like, oh my God, I cannot believe what happened last night. It's amazing. Now we've got to replace him. You should have been doing that months ago.
Loss. You're telling me this is the most important election of our lifetimes? You're telling me that democracy's on the line and you're going to put on a guy who can't even talk?
He's your guy. This is the guy you guys wanted. You wanted him to be your nominee. None of you said a month ago, we need to get rid of him. None of them. Not a single Democratic person in the media went on television and said we need to replace Dementia Joe. None of them. So you're telling the American public what you saw last night was, oh my God, I've never seen that before. When every single one of us will say, damn dude, I could show you hours and hours of footage like that.
Who can't even sit there and look normal. This thing's a bloodbath. He's going to get annihilated. That is, now the Democrats have to decide. Are they happy to lose? Are they willing to lose?
You've already decided. What do you mean? You do not realize there's no mechanism other than death that you're going to be able to get him out or if he resigns. You just can't say, Joe, we're kicking you to the curb. We're going to bring somebody else in. It doesn't work that way. Unless you convince him that you have to resign. Otherwise, we'll take out Hunter and your daughter and we'll make Jill go make soup in a kitchen in, Siberia, make her go over and be one of Zelensky's pals. There's no way you can get him out without him agreeing to get out.
Because this is a guaranteed loss.
This is so much worse than my worst nightmares of what it could be like in every way. The visual stuff is obvious. The staring off, the looking down.
That's not new. How is that news to the news?
It looks terrible. His voice is so utterly weak and feeble. And honestly, that immediately hits you when you see him, but what he says and what he doesn't say on the most important core issues of the election are even worse. Trump won on abortion in the debate. Trump comes out of the January 6th stuff looking fine. He comes out of...
Oh, that and the Supreme Court as well today. So you guys are toast on a number of different levels.
The criminal conviction stuff looking fine. Joe Biden looks worse on democracy after that. He looks worse on criminality after that.
The liberal tears are so sweet this morning. I mean, it's like I could fill up a cup with liberal tears. That's how bad it is. I don't care. None of you should ever look in the mirror or get in front of a camera and pretend like you didn't know what you saw last night is what you haven't seen for the last year or so. The fact that anyone is pretending that what they saw last night was the first incidents that they've ever seen of Dementia Joe breaking down and glitching is an indictment of what the media has been doing to the American people. They are guilty of gaslighting in the first degree. But now, all of us have to ask ourselves the hard question. Who's actually been running? Who's in control in the White House? This is now and has been a national security issue. You watch. Now that the dam has broken, you're going to start hearing and seeing leaks coming out of the White House. We're going to find out who knew about his condition. We're going to find out what have they been drugging him with. And most importantly, how long has it been going on? People need to know who's in charge of the country because it's obvious he is not the guy who's running things. He's got the title, he's got the nameplate, but he is not running America.
This is the real question that we should all be asking, and this should be asked from the top of rooftops from now until the end of time. For 3 years, the media and the Democratic Party have been lying to you. This man is senile. He is obviously senile. He is obviously addled, and someone else is president of the United States, and it is not Joe Biden. Who is the person who is president of the United States? And why have you been lied to for 3 years by people telling you that this man is capable of carrying out the office? A week ago, you had Joe Scarborough on TV talking about how this dumbass was doing back springs and reciting Virgil in Latin upside down. It's all nonsense. I mean, he's
the literary illusion. It does make me think the only way Obama could go and convince Joe is if it's a George and Lenny kind of situation. Think a corn pop, Joe.
Let me ask you a very serious question, and I want you to take the opportunity to ask members of your family, your friends, your coworkers this same question. Can a political party that has pulled a stunt like this ever be trusted to be in power in the White House ever again? Look at what they've done to America. Inflation, the border, sending billions off to some country that we can't even find on a map. Crazy immigration. Tons and millions of newcomers that are wreaking havoc across the country. Insanely high taxes that they want to raise again. They have tried to put their political opponent in jail and still might come July 11th. They've tried to ram insane, sick, perverse ideologies down your throat. They have done everything they possibly can to normalize insanity. And they threw hundreds of Americans in jail for nothing. And the Supreme Court just underscored that. And they used a completely complicit media to effect everything they wanted to do and gaslight Americans who may have had any question whatsoever. The media was complicit. So that question remains. Should a party that pulled that stunt, that did that to America, and all those things I just outlined, be allowed an opportunity to return to the White House in power ever again? I don't care who they try to plug in instead of Dementia Joe. None of them should get anywhere near the White House ever again. Oh, and by the way, you've witnessed a true insurrection because somewhere along the lines, since November of 2020, somebody else took control of this country. Just remember what they did in the dead of the night to gain control. These people can never say that democracy is on the ballot ever again. If what I've said thus far hasn't scared you, what I'm about to tell you may scare the bejeebus out of you. As you now realize, some group of people are running a shadow government in the United States, and they have absolute control of a puppet, of a husk of a man. And they have that control in place for the next 7 months. We've already seen what they're willing to do. We've already experienced some of the stuff that they've done. What do you think they're going to do now that they've been exposed and they've only got 7 months left on the calendar? And as much as the media is now having their come to Jesus moment, it's too late. Do you think that the puppeteers are just going to stop?
Well, John, the Biden team, as of this moment, plans to pack up what few wins they had on the debate stage last night. You've already seen some of those packaged and posted on social media, and to move on and focus on what's coming down the pike. There are no plans, I'm told, for the president to drop out of the race. And even further, I'm told that the president is still committed to a second debate in September, which is currently scheduled for September 10th and hosted by ABC News, much along the lines of the rules of the debate that was hosted last night. Now, the advisor that I spoke with said that they're not putting too much stock in the conversation last night, and that many of the staffers on the campaign and in the White House also worked on President Obama's reelection in 2012, and they tried to draw the parallel to that first debate that was a very low performance for President Obama. Even he would call it a stinker, and they said if you had believed the pundits in the wake of that debate, Mitt Romney would have been president after that.
The world is watching. Our enemies are watching. And this is what they see. But before I show it to you, you probably haven't seen this. What you're about to see should frighten the hell out of you, because this is what the media has seen behind closed doors. They know what's going on, and now our enemies know what's going on.
Joe Biden's age, of course, was already a talking point before the debate. It was amplified as well, not just in a cognitive sense. Plenty of discussion online about this footage of the First Lady, Jill Biden, helping her 81-year-old husband off stage. You can see pretty small steps there, but having to be helped off. He clearly needed assistance to descend those steps.
Jake Tapper and Dana Bash saw that. They didn't say anything. You know other people in the media have seen it over the last year. That's not the only time that kind of thing has happened. And no one, not a single soul in the media, not a single soul in government, has ever told you what you just saw. They've all just been lying to you all along. And you have to ask yourself another question. Why? Why are you being lied to so much by the media? I'm not asking you to answer that right now because actually it's kind of obvious. They need control, and they need control of you and your money and your life and your way of thinking. God help us all for these next 7 months. Please pray for America. We need Trump now even more than we did before. This is crazy. It's out of control. This man can't even step down 2 flat stairs, and he's supposed to be the president. He's not. And they've got 7 months to wreak havoc. Pray to God.